And Angel is in the process of moving, so she won't be able to join us tonight. Just to backtrack, because I know that Dan wasn't in the last class, I am proposing that for the next 2 weeks we meet once weekly, just so that I can tie everything together for you and carry you through the project development worksheets, which you have yet to see. But tonight we are kind of in the last phase of the Brandcubator. The next two classes will really be me kind of showing you how to utilize the templates that I'll be giving you. But this class is really it's the last step in creating that funnel for yourself. So let's get into it. All right, so tonight we are creating your MVP. And this is all about your funnel. Now, your MVP stands for minimum viable / value product. It depends on where you look for it online. You'll see slight variations with the definition. But essentially what the MVP is something which requires the least amount of effort from your ideal customer to gain value. So it could be a checklist that somebody's downloading. It could be that your ideal customer subscribes to a newsletter. It could be a short video series. The MVP gives value with the least amount of effort for your ideal client. Now, it may seem like when we think about least amount of effort, it's not necessarily easy to create your MVP. So it's not necessarily the least amount of effort on your part. But as you can imagine, if you are offering great value with minimum effort on the part of your ideal customer, you are beginning to really nurture a relationship. You're adding value. You are now pulling people into your funnel, and it's easier for you to then upsell something to them. So a couple of examples of MVPs could be anything from a checklist to templates. If you create templates online, or not even online, but maybe you have a program template for communities to roll out to help monetize certain aspects in the community, Yvonne, like a template like that, something like that is an MVP. The aim of the MVP is to basically be able to move that person from a state of potential interest in your product or service into a state of decision that, okay, you've given me value. I feel like I can trust you. I'm seeing results. I want more. Okay. Another example, especially like for Diane, can be like product sample bundles, like a mini gift basket set that warms up the potential customer to say, okay, now that I've been able to get this Father's Day package, I now want beard oil and bath salts very specifically. So there are a bunch of different options, but very important for you to remember, it involves the least amount of effort from your ideal customer to gain value. Okay, so let's break it down. All right, so super crucial. The very first worksheet that you guys had gotten from me started assessing or helping you to develop your SOP, your statement of purpose. And it was really trying to identify the potential pain points across the board of your ideal clients, right? So it's really, really crucial to recall the pain points of your ideal clients. So between your first worksheet and the last one that you would have started working on to create your buyer persona or your customer avatar, if we're identifying your MVP, you have to drill down into the key pain points. The next thing is to evaluate your perceived understanding of their wants versus needs. We make a lot of assumptions about what we think our ideal, who we think our ideal customer is, and what we think they want. and what we think they need. It's very, very important that we evaluate what we believe they need versus what they actually need. The next thing is to identify the lowest hanging fruit to solve a problem of theirs. And I'm going to show you exactly how to do that in tonight's class, right? And then to ensure that you are able to actually scale your solution. So remember, your aim with an MVP is basically to whet the palate of your ideal client, okay? You want to be able to scale this potential solution. So as an example here, and this one was very relevant to like Angel, the big problem for her ideal client is that the person is struggling with bad habits, okay? Your solution or the potential solution to help this person is to go through coaching sessions or a coaching methodology to help that person to curb bad habits. Now that's a big solution, right? The MVP can be something very, very simple that helps the person to then start tracking habits. You'll see these kind of things in journals where it's a sheet and then you can fill in different positive habits. And like you have a little check box where you check them off to say, okay, I did my good habit today, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and you check it off. That's an MVP. She could even take it a step further by having this free downloadable habit tracker on her website with a coupon code, for example, so that if somebody was inclined to take their interest a step further because they've gotten value from this little habit tracker, her MVP, they can now benefit from a discount of a free consultation session or 50% off your first consultation session towards curbing bad habits. Everybody with me so far?
Yep.
Yeah, great.
Yep.
All right, so here we go now. So the key thing is to identify whether or not your MVP is a potential painkiller versus a vitamin. Now, painkillers solve a problem. If you have a headache, you take a pill, it goes away, okay? Or you drink water and it will go away. Vitamins create an opportunity. So painkillers solve a problem, vitamins create an opportunity. Painkillers offer immediate gratification, vitamins offer long-term benefit. Your MVP ideally should be a painkiller, okay? So it's really about offering value to solve a problem quickly. Minimum effort on the part of your ideal clients by giving them some amount of instant gratification, okay? So to do this again, just to reiterate, ask what does my client need versus what they want. And I'm giving you a worksheet with all of these thingies, the tables, okay? So what does my client need versus what do they want? What can I provide that is not my wanted desire for my client, but fulfills their need? So we sometimes go into creating products or services or offerings, thinking about what we want to offer, but missing a connection between what our client actually needs versus what we want. So it's very, very crucial that we assess how we can drill into the need, okay? So you want to offer a painkiller and then be able to maybe further upsell a vitamin later on, okay? So if somebody had gone to my website and downloaded a checklist or downloaded one of my ebooks, that would have been the painkiller. This course, even though it's a painkiller, it's really a vitamin because it gives you long-term benefits, right? So you have to be able to think about painkiller versus vitamin. I'll give you an example, and it's very relevant for us here in Jamaica right now. Uber. Uber is a painkiller product because if you think about the typical way that you would either catch a taxi or call a taxi, there's stress, you don't know if you're gonna be safe. Mind you, there's safety concerns with Uber as well, but you don't know if you're gonna be safe. You You end up calling the cab service and you are put on hold, or you have to call back because there are no cabs in the area, nobody working. The women who are on the phone, it's almost hilarious to hear them in the background. And if you are traditionally like outside, you're gonna have to flag a cab, wave down a cab, and then you don't know who else is gonna be in a cab. Uber offers the painkiller opportunity because it kills the pain immediately. Instead of having to flag down a cab, make a call, you literally are operating from your phone and you press a button. I need an Uber, full stop. So just to keep that in mind, how am I identifying the problem that my client has and my potential solution? Is my potential solution a vitamin? Okay, maybe the long-term benefit is a vitamin. Now, if I drill it down and I drill it down a little further, is there a painkiller within this grand scheme that I have? This big solution I want to offer? What's the painkiller? That's where you need to drill down. So let's take it a step further. So once you have an idea of what your MVP is, you can assess it by putting it into this matrix, or you can assess the components of your MVP by dropping it into the matrix. So on one axis, you have urgency from low to high. And then on the other axis, the y-axis, you have impact. Ideally, you want to be in this little quadrant over here. So you want to be offering high impact with high urgency. So how quickly does my client need this potential offering? And how much of an impact, how positive a response will it give my client? What's the benefit? This is the sweet spot that you want to be in, this little quadrant over here. Now, if you find that it's low urgency, but it still has really good value, then it's probably a little bit more debatable. You may want to evaluate it a little bit. Maybe in terms of thinking about your overall strategy going forward, this may end up being a phase 2 offering versus a phase 1 offering, right? And then if you're in this section where it's low impact, it's not very important, then I call it meh. It's like, you're gonna have a hard time selling this. You're gonna have a hard time with people just quickly downloading it or deciding to watch it, right? And then if you are in high urgency but low impact, meaning that this could really, really help people, but it's not absolutely crucial. So a good example, not necessarily now, but pre-COVID, because of how our markets are made, people were less inclined to jump online. So getting a website, getting social media ready would have fallen in this quadrant until COVID happened. And then it moved into this quadrant, okay? So just to keep that in mind. So let me just backtrack and go back to the slides before we go further. So assessing painkiller versus vitamin. Now you start, once you have an idea of the problems and you have your potential solution, identify, is this a need or is this a want? When you figure it out, it's a need, that means chances are you have a painkiller. Great. That means remove it into the matrix. Now assess impact versus urgency. And this is how we are validating the idea going forward. What just popped up on the screen? What just happened? Sorry, I don't know. No. Why is this here? Okay.
Nothing popped up on our screen. Nothing.
No, it's on my.
Oh, okay. I was just saying.
I don't know. It's okay. Let's not touch it. Maybe it will go away. All right. So your matrix. All right. So validating your MVP now. On your very first worksheet, you were also given a question. It was the last question, which basically asked you something to the effect of, who could you ask about your SOP, your statement of purpose? Who could you go to and ask them if this makes sense? Similarly, you want to be able to go to this type of person, whether it be your personal network or maybe existing clients. You want to be able to go to this person now and say, okay, here's my, of course, you're not going to call it an MVP, but I have this idea. I have a little checklist. I have this, I have that. What do you think? Do you think this would provide you value? Would this give you, how would this benefit you in the short term? Just ask questions. You want to be able to perhaps get a little bit of data. So you can do mini questionnaires. You can put out a little survey. You can create very simple surveys or questionnaires using tools like Google Forms, which is free and available to you once you have a Gmail address. I'll actually show you how you can access Google Forms in a moment. But it's very user-friendly, it's free, and it's accessible to anybody to utilize. But it's great to validate with a little bit of data to see the type of feedback that you can get from individuals. So before I did my courses, I asked, okay, what are your topics of interest? Mind you, those aren't necessarily MVPs, but I need to validate it before I go into creation, right? So what are your topics of interest? How long do you want to do this course for? What's the best time to offer classes for you? Just ask questions to be able to validate. The next thing is you want to assess your success criteria. So what determines the success of your MVP? If, for example, you are creating a newsletter, or you're going to offer a short video course series on Airbnb decor, Gail, or Diane, you're going to offer a checklist for skincare or skincare types, or Yvonne, you're going to create templates for community engagement or community monetization, right?
Mhm.
You want to be able to have a metric that you can measure your success. And what we call these things are KPIs, or key performance indicators. So some examples over here on the right, and mind you, a podcast is not an MVP, but some examples are, for the newsletter would be open rate, which means like how often are my emails opened? So I want to get a minimum of, 40% opens whenever I send out a newsletter. Click-through rates. I want to get, click-through rates means that how many times somebody clicked on a call to action or some sort of button in my email to go to my website or to go to my offer or to read my blog or to check out something. I want click-through rates to be at least 20%, right? Unsubscribes. How much do I want to minimize unsubscribes? So these are all ideas of how you can measure the success of your MVP. If you have something that's available online for download, then of course you're going to be measuring how often they were downloaded. If you have within, and I'm going to go to another step, but if you have within your downloadable guide, Diane, and Diane has this specific guide for spa technicians to improve customer satisfaction, just hypothetically. And within the guide, your MVP, you offer a little discount code on their next order of your products. You can measure one, the downloads of this little guide, and two, how many times that discount code was offered, being a key performance indicator and a success metric of your MVP. Making sense to everybody?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah?
Mhm.
Okay, awesome. Okay, great. So the next thing is to be able to map your customer's journey beyond the MVP, because remember, your MVP is a minimum viable or valued product. Your aim is to be able to upsell from this product, okay? So how do we do that? Here we go. So mapping a journey, you want to be able to do this for each of your customer avatars or buyer personas, all right? So my example is one of my buyer personas. Her name is Tasha, and she's my rebel. based on the archetype. And my proposed MVP are going to be webinar recordings. So it's not minimum effort on my part. I have to create the content, but I want her to be able to get as much value in a short amount of time. All she has to do is maybe watch a 10-minute video. Maybe she gets a little checklist from it. She gets value. The actions needed for her to actually get my MVP is she has to engage with my content. She has to follow my webinar invite. She has to actually sign up for the webinar. So what will I upsell after? I want her to probably book a discovery call with me, or maybe I want her to end up buying into my course, right? Now, once you have an idea of what the journey is from point A to point B, we know who we're talking to, what the MVP is, the actions needed for them to actually take action to get the MVP. And then we know the final step that we want them to make, the final upsell, right? Now we have to troubleshoot any potential pitfalls that this individual may fall into on this journey. Just to cover all bases, because what ends up happening is when you put out something and then you realize, oh crap, I didn't put the call to action in this slide, or I didn't have this here. This helps you to kind of solve those problems ahead of time. So remember, I'm talking about Tasha here. So Tasha, a potential pain point with her journey to my MVP is that she can't find my content. She has no idea who I am. She don't know my brand. She doesn't know what I do. So how do I fix this? I promote my content. I actually maybe boost my content to get it in front of more eyes. That costs money, but what does not cost money is I can do more Instagram lives. I can ask Gail to be my guest on my next Instagram live, and then Gail's network sees my content. They get to interact with me a little bit. And people who didn't know about me will probably start following me because of Gail's network. I can do guest blogs. I can write blogs for other people so that my content is put out there. I can write LinkedIn articles. I can answer questions on a website called Quora, spelled with a Q, Quora, I'm pretty sure.
Yes.
That's correct.
Yeah. So, and I can also use hashtags based on Tasha's interest. So when you are creating your content and you are putting out things relevant to aromatherapy, then you want to probably use hashtags like stress relief, mom life, or mompreneur, because we're thinking, and I'm just using Dan as an example, those are hashtags that Diane's potential customer avatar who will go to the store to purchase, they're following content relevant to stress relief, relevant to motherhood, relevant to maybe entrepreneurship, relevant to fashion. And that's how you really create an audience, or you understand how to market to your audience. Now, the gain, your gain and the customer's gain, is that once you've been able to kind of mitigate against these potential pitfalls, Tasha sees my content and starts falling into my funnel. We're going to the funnel next. And Tasha now can be served immediate value. So now I have to nurture that relationship with her. And she'll be able to post when I post. No, she'll be able to see my post regarding the webinar. Because remember, it's about the MVP. Everybody with me?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Great. So that brings us back to this familiar funnel. So tofu, mofu, and bofu. All right. So top of the funnel, mid funnel, bottom of the funnel. So here's an enhancement of that diagram. So if general brand awareness is top of the funnel, you have to be able to create awareness to get anybody to fall into the funnel in the first place. At this point, you're supposed to be communicating your statement of purpose. So anything that's supporting content that is going to communicate what you do and why you're doing it is very helpful at this level. In the mid-funnel section, you're now creating nurturing content. You're aiming to build trust. You're aiming to build community. Your MVP falls in the middle of the funnel because at this point, your ideal client, they receive value, they see immediate benefits, and they want more from you, okay? And because you have given value, they're seeing the benefits, you get your testimonials, you're nurturing this tribe that you are now creating. You're building trust, you're building community. That is why Diane will end up getting calls from this woman who wants this particular oil for her sinusitis because they've immediately seen value from that one sample that you gave them, which was an MVP. It's just about how you structure it and how you bring that experience online, Diane. And at the bottom of the funnel is your roast. So all of this, all of your content is still supposed to be in support of your statement of purpose, and it's supposed to really complement that statement of purpose and really communicate the statement of purpose. Your statement of purpose is your North Star, okay? Your roast is essentially what you get when you reach. So, okay, let me rephrase that. If the statement of purpose is your rainbow, the roast is the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. I needed a proper metaphor. Okay. So in other words, if my statement of purpose, drilling back, is that I help overwhelmed and overthinking entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, find their brand of truth. My content is supposed to be offering value in that regard. It's supposed to be supporting my statement of purpose. When I move down, I'm building trust, I'm building community. So my MVP, one of them is free discovery calls. I offer a 15-minute free discovery call, and people get a whole lot of value in 15 minutes, right? And from there, I'm able to build community. I've done webinars, I've done all of these free offerings. I have my newsletter, which I need to pay more attention to. But the aim is to nurture that relationship and then pull people down into that state of, okay, I'm ready to move forward into the Brandcubator, right? So when we're identifying the content, and this is one of the diagrams that you guys would have seen before. So now we're bringing everything together, everything. You've identified your statement of purpose. You know who you're talking to. You have an idea of what your pillars are, how you want to communicate. Now you know that you are going to try and identify what's the minimum viable product that I can now drop into the middle of my funnel. At this stage, you are now drawing on the content recipe to identify how I'm going to structure my content to pull people further into my funnel, offer them my minimum viable product, and then move them into decision where I will then, you're essentially then upselling and then creating another loop, okay? So here is, this is what I don't remember if you guys recall, but there was an idea that I had right when I was falling asleep. This was it. Just to explain to you a little bit better how the content should flow. So at the top of the funnel is short format content. So short format, like the term suggests, is short, it's tiny, it's bite-sized. So lifestyle content, tip posts, anything that's relevant again to your statement of purpose. Simple, quick, instant gratification, it builds awareness. In the middle of the funnel, this is where your lead magnets are. This is downloadables. These are newsletters. And you can have long format content here too. So blogs, video tutorials, if you want to do a podcast or a video series or anything like that. This is where the middle of the funnel is. And at this point, this is where your MVP is as well. And of course, the aim of this is to be able to then create that upsell for that person to take the next step to say, okay, I need Yvonne to now create my program for my community. Or I need Diane to sell me 10 packages for my business. Or I'm ready to buy wholesale from Diane for this particular product. So I have an idea for each of you guys for your MVPs today. I'll find it in my notes. 1 second. Okay, so since I mentioned Diane a while ago, I'll mention Diane's first MVP. So I mentioned it at the top already. It was a sample bundle, but I thought about a digital MVP for Diane. Now, remember, we're coming back to the pain points for your potential clients or ideal clients. And I thought about like the spa technicians. One of the pain points for your spa technicians is they want more clients, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody wants more clients. Okay. And another potential pain point for your spa technicians is they don't really have time to create content for themselves. Maybe they don't even know how to market themselves online. Maybe they're missing an opportunity. Maybe they want to. Most of them probably even have their own Instagram account. Am I right?
Yeah.
Yeah. What you could do, and this is almost like, I don't know if you take this on, but I think it would be a good idea. You could offer content bundles for your spa clients, spa technician clients, or content templates that talk about aromatherapy benefits, pain relief or natural remedies, the whole, your potential statement of purpose being like getting to know your body or helping individuals get to know their body. You could create content or templates rather, or you could have somebody like myself help you to create these templates that your potential clients are able to just take and run with. And it helps them to get even more exposure. And in those templates, maybe you end up offering, what did I have here? You could end up offering some sort of discount. So when they decide to buy, you could even sell these templates, of course. So you end up selling this template for minimal amount of money. And on top of that, maybe they get a discount from them for their next offer from you, hypothetically. That's one MVP for that spa technician client. How does that sound?
Sounds great. Because the traditional way in this field is to give samples.
Yeah.
So this is something different. But just like when you gave me a call, and you were doing it as part of the Brandcubator, but I've already registered in my head, I'm ready for you for the next level. And I watched the recording Tuesday night. And I totally agree with you guys about going to the next level. I mean, it doesn't matter whether it's 90 days or 200 days. I'm in. And I will bring a lot more people in because this has been really intense and we're all over the place. But because you've put so much time and effort and great quality in here, I don't even think you have to worry about, I mean, like I'm gone. Yeah, sure, you want me to do a template for them, fine. But you must remember these people are, first of all, beauticians and estheticians here. I have a few with MBAs, but the majority of them are, school leavers who haven't gone beyond sixth form.
Right.
Because in our society, the beautician courses are at that level, Yeah. I have some MBA clients, and they're the ones who I'm going to go back and run my MVP offerings to and say, what do you think of this? But these are girls I have lunch with anyway. So took them samples last week of the sanitizer.
Right.
And it was a total upsell.
Mm-hmm.
So it's quite easy. But just like you said, I mean, that 1 hour call that I had, I was like, "Ugh, I don't have to do this. You can do the whole thing. I just have to find the sponsor now to fund it, you know, and I will. And I have found the sponsor to fund it because,
Nice.
you know, we all have different roles. And
Mhm.
right now I'm focusing hard on the cannabis product and the castor oil products and trying to create a whole new Jamaican herbal aromatherapy brand.
Mm-hmm.
So honestly, would love to be the digital chick on this, but I can't do everything. And I find we try to do everything and we
Yeah.
can't. I mean, like, I'm so sorry I missed Tuesday night, but I was on the road and I can't ask me to stay and help her or something. And I said, okay, I haven't seen her for almost a year and a half. I can't say no. I have to. 'Cause throughout the pandemic, she never dropped the ball. She kept on ordering. And, you know, it was just like one of those people that you just have to. She held my hand. So I was like, sure, no problem.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I'm happy that you got that opportunity to spend time with them and help. I would say that even if you end up having someone else, so for example, you expand and you have someone who takes over your marketing, and then you have me like executing, but
Right.
you have somebody who's taking over their marketing. You need to be able to appreciate and be able to communicate the importance of the MVP to them
Oh,
as
no,
well.
I totally understand.
Yeah.
Totally understand that. But you also know as a solopreneur, sometimes,
A lot.
you know, this multitasking thing, I don't do that anymore. I'm like, no, I'm not doing that because I
It's a
know
lot. No, it's a lot
it's too
because
much.
even for
And
me,
some things fall through the cracks.
yeah, even for me,
So,
I'm supposed to be creating my own content because I do create my own content and design content, but some clients needed content this week. So that's all I
Right.
did this week. It was everybody else's content. So
right.
no, yeah, I totally get it. I totally get it. So that was your MVP. And I didn't want to go the traditional route of like a little sample bundle. So I thought
Right.
about a pain point that your spa technicians have. They don't know how to market themselves better. How can you make it help? How can you solve that problem? Give them little templates that they can create themselves.
Yeah, but and again, another something as simple as showing them how to invoice and to develop a data bank and
Yeah.
lots of those little things. Those little entrepreneurs, they haven't done all of that. They don't even have telephone numbers for their clients, and I'm like, you
See?
don't?
But you see, now that brings me into Gail's MVP. So Gail has the maker to market angle. And I thought about those administrative elements. And Gail, you and I spoke about simple things like product descriptions, proper labeling, that kind of thing. Having
Right.
a checklist available for what is needed for a perfect product description checklist. That's a low hanging fruit. That's an immediate MVP. Yeah. And then I thought about Aha Island Style, and I thought about the potential of offering some sort of, I don't know why Airbnb is in my head so much, but because of the island style elements and individuals who have maybe villas and those kind of things, and of course your upsell is that you want them to purchase product from you, you could probably give them a decor checklist or something to that effect to give like a facelift, a decor facelift checklist. That's too many ists for your Airbnb. Like, what do I need? Oh, I need throw cushions. Oh, I need like coffee table knickknacks, those kind of things. Like just simple things. I am not a decor person at all. I would love to be able to elevate my Airbnb. I don't necessarily know what to look for. And if I could just tell you, okay, please help me, just get everything for me. How much is it gonna cost? That's the upsell, right?
Yes.
But a lot of the Airbnb individuals, they try doing it themselves first. So what is the MVP, the low hanging fruit for that person? Oh, you can tell them what they need. You're giving me a quick little checklist. And even Airbnb themselves, they have some of these little MVPs within the
They
app.
do. And they tell you which color sheets, gray, and only if it's upscale, you use white sheets. If not, grays are fine, or beiges.
Yeah.
Because they hide dirt better. And I'm thinking, oh crap, man, I want white sheets.
I only use white sheets in my Airbnb. I think it looks nice.
Well, it looks more upscale, to be honest.
Yeah.
It does. So,
But even for my bed, I prefer white sheets because I don't know, I just feel relaxed on white sheets.
Anika, excuse me, you also run an Airbnb?
Yes, I have an Airbnb attached to my home.
Okay. How many
Yeah.
rooms is it? How do you manage all of that?
Well, it's quiet right now.
Okay.
It's just it's a 1-bedroom suite, and
Okay.
it's self-contained. It's attached to the home. Of course, pre-COVID, it was a whole lot more busy, but like people that I know are the ones who typically book now, or that I allow to book right now. So like my mentor, friends, they have booked and stayed. And it's more or less long-term stays, at least right now during COVID. But yeah,
But are you in the city or in the mountains or something?
no man. Kingston, so St. Andrew. Yeah, it's not really city, but it's pretty central. Pretty central.
Okay.
Okay, and Yvonne, you're MVP. So I thought about, I actually mentioned it a little bit earlier. I thought about like a 5-step guide or a 5-step template or something of that nature that helps a community to monetize something within the environment. So if, for example, it is, let's see, what was the one? I had something around, I was thinking about sustainability, and I was thinking about farming for some reason. And you can tell me whether or not these things are relevant to you. But within small communities, they may want to find ways to either, or they may even not have a clue about the potential to monetize certain things within their own ecosystem. So my suggestion was creating this little 5-step guide and going towards the funding agencies with the MVP. So saying, I have this guide that you could roll out to your various community grassroots organizations. And that's your MVP that you're giving to the funding agencies. And then from there, the upsell is if they want you to then help them to create a program or roll out the program, administer the program. But you can create, I'm sure you have 50 million ideas around how you can help communities. And if you package that into something which is minimum viable offer, something that is fairly low hanging fruit that gives great value with minimum effort, and minimum effort meaning that it's just a template that they're downloading. Whether or not they choose to actually execute it is another thing, but you're providing the value, you're providing them the steps, the framework. From there, the upsell is, okay, funding agency says, okay, we need Yvonne to help implement this across the board to these 10 communities. So that was an idea for you. Right. And for Angel, I had talked about the habit tracker, which I actually used as an example at the top. Somebody was saying something, sorry.
I just said thank you so much. Thank you very much.
My pleasure. So I wanted to show you guys your worksheet, which I'm going to be sending in the morning because there's one little adjustment I want to make. New New share. Oh, where is it? Oh, there. 1 second.
You know, Anika, that you're masterful at joining all the dots, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you are. In fact, I need to tell everybody that
Mhm.
I went on a site visit this morning at 7 o'clock with my mother's contractor, who is Anika's cousin. And then in walks this man who they're going on to another site meeting. And it's somebody called Franz Repol. And I say, hi, how are you? And then only to find out it's Anika's brother. And I said,
Wow.
Repol. Well, yes, you have a younger brother, right?
I have a younger and I have another older brother.
Okay. So then I go, Repol, that's not a very common name. Do you know Anika? And he smiles behind the mask. I can see his eyes light up. And he goes, yes, I do know Anika. And I went, really? And he says, my little sister. I said, little as in baby sister? He says, baby sister. I said, I'll tell her right now. So
I got the
told
voice
her,
note.
I tell you,
Nice, nice.
Small world.
very small world. Very small world. So he's an architect like your dad.
Yeah, yeah. He definitely followed right behind dad. And then my other brother is a mechanical engineer. And then my younger brother, he did construction management, but he's now teaching preschool, which I think is really cute. So
Interesting. Very
yeah, he went into
Wow.
teaching, which
Very good.
I find but he's finishing up his degree.
Mhm.
He should be done now, actually. Yes.
Oh,
So,
wow.
but when I was a kid, I thought I wanted to be an architect. So like little girls would be doing little doodles and stuff. In school, I was making floor plans. So I would draw the floor plans when I was in class and then show them to daddy after. But nah, I didn't really get into the architecture.
Well, what you do though is very structured. So
Yeah.
you build in blocks.
Well, thank
Information
you. I
blocks.
get the teaching from mommy. So I get the teaching element from mom too. So, and dad taught as well a little while. So yeah.
And your
You
brother
know.
teaches? He told me he teaches architecture.
Yeah, he's up at UTech.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, small world. That's why I have to treat people good.
I'm telling you. Jeez, oh, please.
Definitely. Okay, so this is your worksheet that I'm going to be sharing with you guys tomorrow. The one thing I did not include was a KPI template. So I wanted to drop in a little table for KPIs in here, but there are excerpts from tonight's presentation, which are included, and tables for you to identify painkiller versus vitamin. Whoops, I need to fix this. I don't like when it drops into the next page. Here's your matrix for you to then just drop in any ideas that you have, validate your idea.
Mm-hmm.
And as we go down, how to map your customer's journey. So this is that entire page for you to identify your different avatars and potential MVPs or proposed MVP actions needed. So I just use this as an example. And yeah, I need to adjust the spacing. That's gonna bother me. And then the customer pain points and the journey. So so for the action, it was for Tasha to attend my webinar, but then she can't find my content. So how do I fix the pain points and then the potential gains from it? And yeah, that's it for this worksheet. So what I did not include was the KPI table, which is basically how you decide to measure your success for your MVP. So that's one thing I just wanted to drop into this handout for you. But this is basically the final step in identifying your brand truth, because we've gone through all the theory, we've figured out your statements of purpose, we really kind of drilled into your niche, we have started to create your brand pillars. You have the foundation, you have an idea of the content. Now it's really drilling down even further into building out that content. So you know you're going to be writing blogs, you know you're going to be doing this. What's the point of it all? If you're just throwing content out there for throwing content's sake, which a lot of people end up doing, you're wasting time, and y'all are solopreneurs. You don't have time to just make content for no reason. So you need the structure of the funnel. You need an MVP so that you can move them, the customer, from one point to the other point, which is your end goal. Your end result is you want them to purchase from you. You want them to sign up for consultancy or ask you for your strategy or have you implement their strategy or purchase products from you. That's the end goal. But it's all about creating the foundation, laying the foundation, building upon it, and creating the strategy for yourself to then roll it out. So over the next 2 weeks, just once weekly, we're gonna meet so that I can help you to finalize those content pillars and how they fall within your funnel. I have, and I will, I wanted to show you guys. Let me see. Right. This is my drive, which is in Spain. But I wanted to just show you two things. I wanted to show you how you can find, you see my Google Drive, right?
Yes.
I wanted to show you how you find your forms, Google Forms in Drive. So if you're signed into your Gmail, over here on the right, this is my business sheet Gmail. You have this, I don't remember what they call this. It's called like a hamburger menu or something to that effect. But when you click on this little icon over here, a drop-down menu appears with all of the Google products, right? One of those options, let me open another window, sorry. So over here, so this is just general Google for me. Same little icon is over here. When I click on it, Drive comes up. Drive is one of the many options here. When I click on it, Drive will then open. And all I have to do now to find or to create a form is go to New. And it pops up. You can make a Google Doc, Google Sheet, Google Slide, and forms. You'd be surprised what more you can do in Google.
Anika, I usually go down, if you go back to the little square, I actually never did that. I went to the square and then I looked for Google Forms and then I clicked on it.
Well, you have different ways. This is a method that I use. You could also literally go to the website for Google Forms. But the reason why I do it like this is because I like to, obviously when you're creating a form, it adds it automatically to Drive. But I like to do this because I create forms within folders in my Drive. Following me? So like within my CEO folder, I will have a form for CEO chat. Within the business sheet folder, there's a form which I use for clients who want logos designed. So it just helps you to organize versus just creating the form. So I will choose a folder, create a folder, go to New, create a folder, and then click on New again and create a form, a template, or a blank form.
Okay. You skipped us, sorry. Because I actually did one, I did a survey. Just today I had a problem with one where I created a survey and then I just can't find it. I went back to my Google Drive and not for anything I can find. Well, I was having difficulty in the Zoom call. So I then shut everything down. And I don't think, anyway, this is besides the point.
So let me show you how you find it, because they did something recently. I think it's just a weird update for Google.
I can't find it anywhere.
So what I do when I'm searching for the form, if you can remember the name of the form, you click on, so I have a form that's called VA profile. Okay, notice it's not popping up. I click on the little drop down option menu. I click on type, forms, search, and the form pops up.
Okay.
Likewise, if I wanted to, Google Forms, yeah, you have the actual website for Google Forms. And in here, it literally has all of the recent forms that I've worked on or owned by me.
Okay.
One form, which is weird.
The first time
By anyone. Oh, this is because I'm signed into my personal Gmail, right?
Nika, I think for the persons who have never used it, I remember the first time I used Google Forms, I didn't know where to find them. I didn't realize you had to go back to the form and then see the replies. I thought it would come to your email or something. So that's something I actually.
So you can set it up. So let me just show you that quickly, just because we're here. Which form can I use? Okay, so I'll use CEO chat. So I use this form to get, just to help organize when I'm having people on my Instagram lives. In settings, so clicking on settings, let me just make sure. There is an option. It's literally like a switch or a checkbox that you flip that when you have a response, it will email you. Show progress bar. No, that's not what I want. 1 second, I'm gonna find it. Momento.
Gail, have you used them before, Gail?
Preferences.
Never.
Never. Okay. And Diane and Angel?
No, no, it's not here.
Okay.
1 second, I soon find it.
I'll figure it out because I was looking everywhere for the forms and I couldn't find them. And then I realized it was I had to already go back to the form.
I soon find it. If anything, I'll probably record because it's here, you know, it's here. One thing that is helpful as well is in the settings section under presentation, you can include a confirmation message. And you could even redirect people somewhere. So say, for example, you put out a little survey just asking for feedback. You know, you can include, thank you so much for your response. Please feel free to check out my website. And you could include your website address. And whenever somebody finishes the form, at least you've gotten some additional call to action. I don't have one here because this is actually involved in a whole Calendly thing, and they don't need to. They actually don't need to go anywhere else. But by default, this little response, your response has been recorded, is what comes up. I will find that little switch that you flip because it's something very simple. And once somebody fills out the form, you're supposed to get a notification in your Gmail associated with the form. So I'll just double check it.
Okay, thanks.
That was Google Forms. There was something else I wanted to show you in Drive. What was it? I don't remember.
So Google Forms is what you would use in order to do all of these templates. Like if I wanted to do a template for something, or just the regular kind of Word document looking thing.
You can use a Word document. What kind of template you're talking about? Because Google Forms is good for the validation. So if you wanted to get feedback on something, it's like a survey tool. What I've used it for job applications. I've used it for a bunch of different things. I've used it for customer testimonials.
For job applications, how would you use it for job applications?
Yeah, I'll show you that. Let me show you.
That's interesting. I never thought about that. For job applications.
Let me show you. I've used it for like interest forms for individuals if they're interested in a particular product or service. Oh, this is an old one. So this was done in March last year. So even the old logo. Notice there were 83 responses or respondents. So name, email, phone number, indicate level of interest below in terms of their skill set, basically. So they could literally select a box based on level of interest. They were then upload their resume, their CV, and just fill out a question. And this would have been how I shortlisted. And when you look at the responses, what's really cool is that it gives you a summary response of all the names of everybody. Some of the responses are given in graphs like this. So it's really good data. Yeah.
But if you want to see the individual responses, because I know
individual responses are here as well. So you can choose by individual, and you can just scroll through each individual. If I wanted to, I could go to number 15 and it would show me number 15. If I wanted to look at based on questions, specific questions. And then if I wanted to, I could just download a spreadsheet. So if I clicked on this, it would spit out a Google sheet with all 83 respondents. So this is actually, it's really helpful. I've used the Google Forms to collect leads and then added my little spreadsheet to my newsletter platform to send out emails. So there are lots of different ways that you can utilize Google Forms, and this is free and it's available to you. In terms of creating templates, going back to your question, Gail, it depends on what you want to do. So you can use Canva to create some amazing templates.
Yes.
You can do checklists, anything, worksheets, all kind of stuff you can create in Canva.
Anika, if I may interrupt, would you be interested in actually doing a short program to do just what you're doing now? For persons like us who may have an inkling, but just how do you optimize the use of these tools? Because we've done the Brandcubator. This is but we can't spend all, this is really a good little insight you're giving us. But I really could do with how to optimize these tools, because I go in there, I try, it's just, again, time. I literally don't have the time to spend it. I Google, like I'm trying to put the e-commerce on my thing. I've spent so much time trying to Google stuff, calling up Wix and calling up, PayPal and Stripe and everything. I'm sure there's a faster way. So I'm not talking about e-commerce. I'm just talking about forms that are relevant to the market. You understand?
Yeah, I've thought about doing things like a video course or a set of like short video courses around how to utilize certain tools. Like I was gonna do one, not on Google. What was it on again?
But I think have it very much linked to what you're teaching, because you can go on Google stuff and you can get the very generic stuff. But if it's more tailored to what your courses are,
that's what I wanted to show you. So well, here's the thing, right? What's it called again? Project. Here we go. So this is an example. This is actually an example of the template you're going to be given to plan out your content. And this is something that I use for clients. And it's a template that I created. So it actually tracks projects over a 16-week period. And it looks on different categories. So this one was for like an online event. So say, for example, you're going to have a webinar or a summit or something to that effect. This is actually not the right one, but this one basically shows you how to plan. It really should have the different areas filled out. But it would have then shown you when you're supposed to launch your landing page, when you should have a blog written, when your when you're supposed to pull in the featured presenters, topics, and so forth. Like, this is something that I'm giving you guys, but it's the wrong one. But it will have the different sections filled in based on timeline. And then you can utilize this to scale it in whatever way. But this is something that we're going to be touching on in the next class.
Okay.
So just because you mentioned it, I actually remembered why I went into Google Drive in the first place. It's because I am going to be showing you how to utilize a tool like this, as well as a content calendar planner and a blog planner to start planning your content going forward.
Wonderful.
And this is the one that is basically the chief template. So this plans your stuff over a 16-week period. And then the other ones are supplemental templates. So you know that you need, for example, in the proper one, and I wish I could find it, but in the proper one, in week 6, you should have a guest blog, hypothetically. Then you have a blog template that helps you to plan what your blogs should be. Right. So that's actually it for tonight. What questions do we have? Any questions?
Thank you very much, Anika. It was
yeah, I would reiterate what Yvonne is saying. Thank you. And then thank you. And also I'm very thankful to Yvonne for sending the thing from UNDP.
Okay, I'm happy you found it useful.
No, you know, I found it useful not only for Anika, because it was literally just talking about, it was actually showing what we were trying to say to her, right?
Right, exactly.
But it wasn't only that.
Yeah, that's why
For me, it was very, very insightful, because I thought to myself, you know, everybody and his mother have literally realized the issue with capacity building, Anika. Everybody and his mother. And I thought, you know what? So I don't need to teach somebody maybe about financial planning, because it's always very structured the way that the things are done.
Right.
It still comes back to like what even I was doing at work today. It was, again, working with the photographer, again, working with some things that look so ordinary and trying to make them look extraordinary, the way I would merchandise in a brick and mortar store. And it's trying to create that aha, but online for Carib Shopper. And we actually had a webinar for existing merchants today. And we invited, I don't know, maybe we made 50 or 60 calls to people who have been on it with us on the journey for about 5-6 months. And we had the lady from Ari Skin Cream talk about her successes, because when I tell you she's on point, when they get an order, I swear those people don't sleep. The next morning as I'm opening the door, they have somebody delivering the order.
Oh, wow,
they're very organized,
excellent.
they track everything. So the Ari products are always delivered on time or before time. Her tribe is loyal.
Her
tribe